Today's show is going to be all about the final free agent targets for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before NFL free agency starts because it is just hours away. Now, before we get on with the show, I want to ask you guys, who do you want the Bucs to sign in NFL free agency? Before I go through my top 5 final free agent targets, I want to hear from you guys because this is what this channel is all about. I say it all the time. It's about you guys, not about me. So I want to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know who you want the Bucs to sign in NFL free agency. Welcome into Bucs Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Reed Barkus, and oh man, free agency right around the corner, just hours away. Are the Bucs going to sign anyone? Is Mike Evans leaving? Is Lavonte David retiring? We have so many questions, but on today's show, I really just want to talk about my top 5 final free agent targets. Now, this is not, going to sign all 5 people. It's more of just the guys that I think you should really focus on and the Bucs should focus on signing in 2026 NFL free agency. And starting with number 1 or number 5, I guess, Jamel Dean, currently on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think bringing back Jamel Dean is very important. He's at number 5 because I think if you want to continue this young secondary, Jamel Dean is a guy that is perfect for your locker room. When you have a younger secondary, you want a guy like Jamel Dean who has been there, has been with the organization, and he had a great year last year. So I think bringing Jamel Dean back is very important. He's at $12.5 million market value on Spotrac, so a little expensive, but he did work his way into a higher market value because of last year. Now, he dealt with some injuries, and I always say, if I could turn injuries off, Jamel Dean, we sign him back as soon as, anything opens up. Like, we need him back if injuries are off, but unfortunately, he only played 14 games, but he did have a very, very good year compared to other years. Now, the big thing that I'm talking about with Jamel Dean is his just presence. Is when you have a younger secondary in, Jacob Parrish and Jamel Dean, a guy like Jamel Dean, and Benjamin Morrison, they have injury. Benjamin Morrison has injury problems as well. We've seen him with his hips and maybe hamstring and stuff. So Zion McCollum, I like Zion. He had a good year. Jamel Dean, he sort of just wraps this secondary up, and a lot of teams are going to be interested in him. And I think that speaks a lot about who he is as a player. And when you have a good year at the end of the contract, hey, your price is going to go up, but I think it's worth it to bring back a guy like Jamel Dean. So he's at number 5. Now let's go to number 4. He has been linked to the Buccaneers a couple times now in the past couple weeks. Alex Anzalone, the linebacker out of Detroit. Now, his Spotrac market value is at 7.3. He is a little bit older at 31 years old, but I think he still has a lot left in his tank, and the $7.3 million is sort of what speaks to me. Is you get a lot of value with that. He's a good veteran wide receiver, good veteran linebacker, still very, very solid NFL linebacker. Quick to stop the run and a scheme blitzer. Great at following running backs in coverage and good eye discipline in the pass game as well. Now, this is a guy who maybe has lost a step because he's 31 years old, but when you got a guy like Lavonte David, who we don't know if he's coming back or not, I think Alex Anzalone could step into that role pretty perfectly. Now, last year he had 95 tackles, 4 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, and 6 QB hits, 9 PBUs to 1 interception. He's just your typical, off-ball linebacker where could blitz a couple times, but he's aggressive, and I like it. And his coverage stats, letting up 409 yards, 2 touchdowns, QB rating of 88. Now, the last 4 years, missed some time in 2024, obviously, but he's a solid linebacker. Like, if you're looking for somebody who maybe you want to go after an edge in the first round of the draft and then maybe see what you can get with linebacker, you bring in a guy like Anzalone who will fill that veteran role if Lavonte David does decide to leave. And then maybe you draft a linebacker in the second or third round and you sort of go with that group. rather than, going for a big Devin Lloyd or something who's going to be a little bit more expensive. All right, Alex Anzalone, number 4. Moving on to number 3, it is Jaelan Phillips, the edge out of Philadelphia. Now, Jaelan Phillips he had a great year. He coming from the Dolphins, he signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he had a very, very solid year, which means his Spotrac market value is at 17.3. Now, not too crazy with the production that he's had, but I love Jaelan Phillips, honestly. He had a great year with the Eagles, and I remember watching that video of him tearing his Achilles when playing the Jets, I believe, when he was on the Dolphins, and it just broke my heart. But he came back strong, and 4 TFLs, 2 sacks, 7 QB hits with the Eagles, and 25 tackles, 3 TFLs, 3 sacks, and 7 QB hits. Pretty similar with the Dolphins. He's very consistent. And when the Eagles trade for him, I mean, as much as, maybe some people don't like the Eagles as much, Howie Roseman knows what he's doing. So if you got Howie Roseman trading for a guy like Jaelan Phillips, I would like him on my team. He's a versatile edge rusher and a pocket disruptor. If you guys watched any Eagles games last year, I don't know why you would have, but I like watching a bunch of football just to see what's going around the NFL, and obviously watch the Bucs as well. But I saw a couple games of Jaelan Phillips, and the guy he gets to the passer. Not maybe a tons of sacks or whatever. He does get sacks, but he disrupts the QB, his rhythm, his motion, and maybe flushes him out of the pocket for someone else to get a sack. So that's why I say a pocket disruptor, and I very, very enjoy that and would definitely like that on this defense. But coming up, my top 2 free agent targets for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into 2026 NFL free agency. And speaking of free agency, if you guys want updates on the Buccaneers during free agency, during the NFL draft, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It is 100% free. If you're looking for more Bucs content and, just updates on free agency, who they're signing, who maybe they're looking at in the NFL draft. Now, I'm not competing with anyone here. Bucs Breakdown, where I'm just extra. You get extra when you watch the Bucs Breakdown. You can watch the Pewter Report. You can watch everyone else. Just another avenue to get good Bucs free agency and NFL draft news. So make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're growing, and I love it. So thank you so much. All right, moving on to number 2, another Philadelphia Eagle, Nakobe Dean, the linebacker from the Eagles. Now, I know what all of you are probably saying when you see Nakobe Dean, and all you see is injuries. And yes, that's why his market value is a little bit lower than I think I would expect if he didn't get injured. But we've seen it his entire career, and unfortunately, he just can't get away from the injury bug. So his market value is at a $7.9 million. So I sort of, in the same way, Alex Anzalone. Now, Nakobe Dean is younger than Alex Anzalone, but I just love the mentality of a Georgia linebacker. I don't know about you guys. Very, very smart. 55 tackles in 2025, 7 TFLs, 4 sacks, 6 QB hits, and 2 forced fumbles. Now, his coverage stats, pretty dang good, man. This guy is your typical green dot linebacker. If Levante David does decide to leave, Nakobe Dean can slot right in there, and it feels like probably we wouldn't miss a step, honestly, because when Nakobe Dean plays, he is very good. He had a comeback season in 2024 after his knee injury, and 128 tackles, 9 TFLs, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and an interception. He came back strong for that Super Bowl season. So probably a good reason why that defense was so good and went on to destroy Patrick Mahomes. But with Nakobe Dean, man, he's a smart, athletic linebacker that flies around the field. He's all over the field. I think if there's a play to be made, Nakobe Dean is there. Even after his knee injury, he is still athletic. One of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL, as well as just aggressive. When he makes a play, he's following through, and he is bursting through that hole, pause. But with running backs trying to, pass protect, he's just going to bulldoze right through you and get to the quarterback. So I like that option if you want to you want to take a linebacker, because a lot of this is all defense. I think offense just needs a little bit of tweaking, but defense needs a lot of help. So that's why a lot of these guys are all defense, including number one, who you probably have guessed it. Trey Hendrickson is number one on my final free agent targets list. Because if you're going to make a big play in free agency, you might as well go for a guy that will give you production. He's 6'4", 265, 31 years old. His market value is at $25.5 million. And I made a video about this. The last video that I made on the channel was actually about Trey Hendrickson, because the rumors are that he wants to sign with the Bucs and he would love to come to Tampa. And so I was talking about it, and I was like, 25.5 is expensive. But a commenter, I forget, I think it was James maybe, he was like, honestly, $25 million is not crazy compared to what Trey Hendrickson has been able to do. And obviously last year had that hip injury, that core injury that he had to get surgery on, missed 6 games, or only was able to play 7 games in the 2025 season. But he still had good production: 16 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 8 QB hits, and 23 pressures. Now, I'm torn, because you think about, we've got $19 million in cap space around, roughly. It all depends on, you can restructure things, but a guy like Trey Hendrickson, I think $25 million is worth it for that sack production. 2 double-digit, or two seasons with 17.5 sacks in 23 and 2024. I mean, when you have a contract dispute, I've said it before, it can kind of mess with you a little bit. And then he did get injured, but he was probably on pace to most likely get double-digit sacks, maybe 10 or 11, somewhere around there. But I think you restructure Tristan Wirfs, that'll probably free up about $18 million, and then you go from there, and you make the best of it, and you go get a guy who will change the defense. Max Crosby gets traded to the Ravens. You're not in that camp anymore. I think next best is Trey Hendrickson, and he's cheaper, and 25.5 is worth it for what you can get from Trey Hendrickson. So that is all I have on my top final free agent targets for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I want to ask you guys a question before we get all the craziness tomorrow in NFL free agency. Starts, I believe, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 Central, and so, I mean, it's going to get crazy, but I want to ask you guys, which position gets signed first? Is it edge rusher, type edge? Is it linebacker, type LB? Or is it other, type O? More like maybe the Bucs go after like an Isaiah Likely or something like that if they want to let Cade Otton go and maybe focus on defense in the draft. Who knows? I don't know, but you let me know what you think in the comment section. And that's all I got for you on today's show. A little bit of a shorter episode. Actually, I have no idea, because I don't time how long I talk. But thank you so much for watching to the end of today's video. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button for free Bucs content all off-season long. And like the video, tells YouTube that I'm doing a pretty good job. Also tells my bosses that we're doing a pretty good job here at Bucs Breakdown. And as always, fire the cannons.